Welcome everyone to another episode of our show, Meet the Bishop. Today we have the blessing of a meeting with Sayyidina, His Grace, Suriel. Sayyidina, welcome to the show. I would like to start by asking Your Grace a few questions.
Sure.
Okay. Sayyidina, what was your last job before entering the monastery?
I was working as a high school mathematics teacher for 6 years in Sydney, Australia.
Sayyidina, can you tell us which monastery you were in and how long you stayed before becoming a bishop?
I entered the monastery of Saint Bishoy in Skeetus in Wadi Natrun, which is an ancient monastic site dating back to the 4th and 5th century, where early monasticism began in Egypt. And I always wanted to go back to Egypt to become a monk there, because I felt that this is where my roots were, and this was very important to me. And I spent 5 years in St. Bishoy Monastery before going to serve as a parish priest at St. Mark's Church in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Sayyidina, can you tell us about some of your services before becoming a bishop?
Yes, before becoming a general bishop in 1997, as I mentioned, I was a monk serving in the papal residence under the direct guidance of His Holiness Pope Shenouda III, and this was a great blessing for my life, to learn from His Holiness and to watch him working and serving very diligently. And also I assisted with publishing and writing in El Karaza English magazine, which first came out in 1992. And then after I went to serve at St. Mark's Church in Honolulu, Hawaii. It was a small parish of about 11 or 12 families. And also I used to care for the Sunday school children there and to give them the lessons, as well as also caring for the youth. It was only a small group of youth. I had 3 young people that I met with every week and gave them some spiritual advice and spiritual lectures. This was my main work as a parish priest before being ordained as a general bishop.
Sayyidina, when were you ordained a general bishop?
I was ordained a general bishop on the 15th of June 1997 by His Holiness Pope Shenouda III in St. Mark's Cathedral in Cairo.
Sayyidina, we have observed with great admiration your stand during the Nag Hammadi incident. We know you gathered the people and united many denominations, and you led many demonstrations. Can you brief us on your stand and how these troubles resulted in good for our church in Australia and all over the world?
Yeah, I think this was a very sad tragedy in the history of Egypt, for such an incident to take place for innocent young people as they were leaving joyful after Christmas liturgy on the 6th of January, and to be met with bullets and bloodshed. This was a shock to not only to the Coptic Christians, but I think to humanity in general. Many people around the world were very saddened by this news, and indeed many people in Australia. And I decided to take a strong action and to make the voice, or to be a voice for the voiceless, for those that are not able to speak out for themselves because of oppression and because of persecution and many sufferings that they are going through, that I decided to make a strong stand. And we had a liturgy which was attended by about 3,000 people in the cathedral in the middle of the city in Melbourne. And then after that we had a peaceful demonstration that was attended by about 5,000 people, and we had many leaders from other Christian denominations marching with us, speaking out against this injustice that took place for these people, these 6 Christians and that Muslim soldier that were shot dead. Until today, we are still waiting for justice to happen, and we have not seen this till now, and the case is continuing to be delayed, and this is not a good thing, and this puts Egypt in a very bad light in the international community when such atrocities happen against innocent Christians in Egypt. And indeed, we had a great media coverage for this protest march in the television, many television stations, in the radio, in the newspapers. I was also interviewed by the leading radio personality in Sydney, who had a long interview with me that was broadcast live on 2GB radio. So I think that this had a very positive effect to make at least the people in Australia, but I think with the internet, many people saw the effects of this demonstration worldwide. And in fact, I received some letters from people from many different parts of the world appreciating what we did to stand for the voiceless and for those that were suffering because of what happened in Nag Hammadi. And it was a great blessing and honor for me also to go and attend the 40th day memorial liturgy in Nag Hammadi and to give some support to these families that lost loved ones on Christmas Eve.
We all know how eager you are for higher education. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are on that road right now?
At the moment, I'm completing my doctoral degree at Fordham University in New York in religious education. And I'm at the stage now where I've completed my coursework. I'm finishing my qualifying paper and about to start my thesis. I'm studying a very prominent figure in the recent history of our beloved Coptic Orthodox Church, and that is Archdeacon Habib Gerges. I've titled it The Light in the Darkness, because his period was full of many difficulties that the church was going through, a lack of religious education on many levels. And Archdeacon Habib Gerges had a great vision for the church. He loved the church very much, and he wanted to see it to be in the best possible form. And so he had a great role to play in establishing the Sunday school movement in the Coptic Orthodox Church at the turn of the 20th century. He was also appointed as the Dean of the Theological College in 1918. He wrote many books on many different subjects. One of them was a book called The Orthodox Rock, and this is a very important book because in the turn of the 20th century, he went to Upper Egypt to give a series of lectures to strengthen the Orthodox Christians there against the influence of the Catholic and Protestant missionaries who were trying to proselytize the Orthodox Christians, who were simple people in Upper Egypt with not much education, and they were trying to convert them to Catholicism and Protestantism. And he made a strong and powerful stand through these series of lectures to confirm the people in the faith, and then published this in a very important book. So my thesis, one of the chapters will be about Habib Gerges as the defender of the Orthodox faith. So it will be a very interesting study. He had a great vision for the future of the church and what can be changed to better the church at that time. I think there's still many lessons that we can learn from his life and from the rich teachings that he left for us. So I'm really very eager and looking forward to complete this very important study that I think we can benefit a lot from him.
Sayyidina, you've served in both the US and Australia. Can you tell us a little bit about the similarities and the differences between the youth both here in the US and in Australia?
I think there's probably more similarities than there are differences. Both USA and Australia have a Western culture, and this affecting both the youth in the USA and in Australia in very similar ways. I don't see that there is that much of a difference. Perhaps life in America is a bit more fast-paced, and maybe distances are a bit further away, and this sometimes affects the ministry in some ways, and maybe sometimes more difficult to gather youth more on a more regular basis because of long distances. But I think that most of the issues and the problems that youth face, whether in America or in Australia, are really very similar. Dealing with the fast, rapid technology change, the effect of the media, the television, the internet, the rap and pop culture that young people are faced and bombarded with today, I think has a lot of detrimental effects. I think we as a church need to be up to speed and need to understand all of these issues in order to better address youth issues and youth problems when we speak to the young people at their level and their same language. I think it makes it easier to be able to get through to them and to be able to teach them a lot of rich spiritual heritage of our church and of the early fathers. Our youth can learn a lot from this.
How to become preachers?
Why do marriages fail for the most trivial of reasons? You have to be honest in your confession.